What is driving oil prices right now? Where's the tightness coming from? Is this purely the Saudis?
It's definitely led by the OPEC Plus coalition. Saudi Arabia has made big cuts, that million-barrel-a-day voluntary cut. Russia has made some modest cuts to its exports, and importantly, they've extended that to the end of the year. And coming against what is a demand picture which is much more buoyant than people might have predicted a few months ago. Those restrictions to the end of the year, restricted supply, strong demand, and you've got the price rally that we see.
How much pushback do you think the OPEC Plus members are actually going to get, given that originally I think, justification for originally doing this was to bring back their break-even prices back to a level where their national budgets weren't in deficit anymore. Now we've gone way past that point. Even Goldman Sachs talking about in 12 months a $100 price target on Brent. Where does the pushback come from?
Well, if we look at it from the perspective of OPEC Plus, I think they feel that this is a fair price because their dollars are not worth what they are today, what they were a few years ago. They're grappling with a world in which the things they're importing are more expensive, and they feel that they need a higher price, and it's fair that they have a higher price to maintain their purchasing power. That's the first thing to say. Where the pushback comes from is an interesting question. Obviously, $100 tends to be a pain point for people, or an obvious point for people to focus on. And on top of that, you've got a very stretched oil refining system around the world, which means fuel prices have risen further still. So we are starting to see those prices feed through to consumers, and for that it could cause discontent in major consuming countries, in Europe, in the United States, in Asia. So the equation for OPEC Plus is how far they feel able to push it. At what point does it, A, start to make things too difficult for them in their relationships with their allies, and B, that they may see some demand destruction. And I think that's what the market will be seeking to find out in the weeks ahead.